Numero dos. Part 2.
We're not gonna do our intro. Fuck it.
Alright, guys. You know who we are. This is part 2 of the case file.
Jamie Banks.
Jamie Banks. So
we left off, Kayla read the case closed. If you haven't seen part 1, go check that out before you do
go
this
watch
one.
that before you watch this one.
Yes, because you'd be so confused. So, what are we going to read now? The suspects?
So the goal is to figure out who was in the room, right?
Yeah,
who was in the
figure
room
out
with her.
if someone was in the room with her.
Yeah.
What are these?
Those are the statements and stuff of the witnesses.
I cannot read cursive.
This ain't even cursive.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that one is, but these aren't.
Oh.
Those aren't cursive. So you could probably read a couple of those if you wanted to.
Not really.
Do you want to read a couple? Can you be loud enough to read a couple is what I should say? Alright, so I'll start reading on this one. So this one says Janice Dowling, which was the principal. Her address is 101 Monroe Road in Verona, Massachusetts. Date November 20th, 1992. Time 11:43 a.m. Date of birth was 11/20 of 1951. Alright, so it says today is the worst day of my 17-year teaching career. I'm overwhelmed with grief, but I thoroughly understand the need to conduct a full investigation. We canceled third period today for an all-school pep rally because the football team is playing in the state championship tonight. Third period starts at 10 a.m. We took a few minutes gathering students on the bleachers so Marilyn Roberts could take an all-school picture. We had just finished around 10 after...
Is this at 10 a.m.? Did this happen at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.?
10 a.m. We had just finished at around 10 after when Robert Romero came running into the gym screaming for help. I asked Miss Hawkeye to watch over the students while Mr. Griffin, Mr. Collier, Mr. Carrier, and Miss Stason and I ran out to see what happened. Sorry, this is cursive, so it's hard to read. That's when I saw Jamie on the ground. Sophie Sunday and Olivia Underwood were near her body. Miss Stason immediately checked for vital signs and attempted to provide medical attention, but it was clear she was gone. I asked Robert Romero what happened. He says he was washing his hands in the first floor bathroom when he heard a scream and a loud cracking noise. He ran outside, saw Jamie laying on the ground, and immediately ran to the gym to notify us. As I looked up and saw the open window on the 6th floor above us, it became clear what had happened. I was trying to determine which room had the open window, and as I realized it was the newspaper room, the emotions overwhelmed me. I started getting lightheaded and was about to sit down on the ground when I noticed everyone staring at me. So I paused and I took a deep breath. And I told Mrs. Griffin to go up to the 6th floor to guard the newspaper room door until the police and I got there. I told the students to sit down by the building and stay there until I returned for them. I told Miss Stason to remain with the body and make sure no one interfered in any way until I returned. I told Mr. Collier to go to the main office to dial the police, and I asked Mr. Carrier to walk with me back to the gym just in case I fainted. When I got to the gym, I announced that everyone in the gym was safe, but there had been an accident and we all needed to remain there until further notice. I placed staff members at all the exits. Mr. Griffin says the door was locked until he got there, so he just guarded the door. Sorry, the door was locked when he got there, not until he got there. When he got there, and he just guarded the door. It was empty when I opened it for the police, and there's only one way in or out. We have a security camera pointed towards the back lot where she fell. I'll get you a printout during the time of the incident. I've also asked Marilyn Roberts to develop the class picture she took as soon as possible. I'll review the photo in an hour or so when it's ready, and I'll let you know anyone who was in the school at that time but missing from the photo. So all those people that were in the photo, so all these people were in the school but they were missing from the photo. The ones that were there. Okay. Anyway. I know Jamie was an above average student. She wrote for the paper and was in drama. I saw her performance last night and she was amazing, but regretfully, I didn't know her very well. If you want more insight into her, I'd recommend getting a statement from our guidance counselor, Dr. Gelding, that he heads up the newspaper. You also might want to talk to her drama teacher, Mr. Preakness. She was playing Juliet in the school play, so he must have been working closely with her. The students love Mr. Preakness, especially the girls. If there's anything else I can help with, please let me know. Janice Dowling. And the witness signature was Detective Sherman. So there's numero uno. So I'm going to start putting stuff that we've already read over here. You want to read one? Or you want me to read? Okay.
I'm here for support.
Alright, so this is the witness statement form from Robert Romero. He's the one that found Jamie's body. His date of birth was 2/7 of 1975.
What does this say?
Yeah, this was 1992.
And this is
That's when he was
85.
born.
85 would be 10 years old. 90 would be 15, 16, so he'd be 17. Okay. Yeah, I guess I was thinking of real time, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that would be like 50 years old by now. Alright. So, his statement says, what is with all these freaking words? I was...
Just like...
Yeah, these ones are bigger than that one, though.
Yeah.
These are written bigger. Oh god, his is not. I'm gonna read all these witnesses.
Leave it to a doctor at the right time.
Alright, this is gonna take probably a few hours, so.
So it's gonna be a lot of parts, guys.
Yep. I was the first one to find Jamie's body. Seeing her laying there was a horrible experience. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. What? This is Robert Romero. Why does he not look 17? He looks older than 17, does he not?
It's the facial hair. It's always the facial
They
hair.
did back then.
He looks like a Beatles. He looks like one of the Beatles. Am I right or am I wrong? He looks like one of the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay.
They probably took one of the Beatles' pictures and put it there.
Maybe. Alright, so I was the first one to find Jamie's body. Seeing her laying there was a horrible experience. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I'm still really shaken up about the whole thing. I was in the first floor bathroom and lost track of time because I kept reading Craig's review over and over again. Best review I've ever gotten. But then I
Well,
realized...
how was he reading Craig's review if they didn't have internet back then?
Craig's review. Not Craigslist.
Oh. That's what I thought
And I
of.
hate to tell you, but they did have internet in the 90s.
Well, not like we do today.
No. It was like those old, like,
Yeah.
box computers or whatever. But anyway, best review I've ever gotten. But then I realized I was late for the pep rally, so I was rushing to wash my hands and leave when I heard her. It was about 10 minutes after the bell rang for third period, so it was probably about 10:10 a.m. It was a weird sound when I heard the woman scream and then something hitting the ground really hard. The noise came from right outside of the bathroom, so I rushed out the door and around the corner to the exit to help. I got there pretty quick before anyone
So
else.
maybe that is him. It's just.
I don't know. I kneeled down beside Jamie. It was a surreal moment since it was exactly like we had rehearsed so many times in Act 5, Scene 3. Only this time we weren't acting. So this dude, I'm gonna guess, was Romeo.
Yeah,
In the play.
Yep.
So it's basically just like a reenactment of Romeo and Juliet when she committed suicide. Just instead of stabbing herself, she went out the window.
Someone pushed her. That'd be a twist if no one killed her and she actually did.
She was perfectly motionless, no noise, no movement, just laying there, dead. It took me a moment to realize I needed to get help. Everybody was in the gym, so I ran over there and got Mrs. Dowling and a bunch of other teachers and brought them back to her. Didn't I just read somewhere that he immediately went to the gym? And this one says that it took him a moment to get help?
Yeah, I think it was in her statement. So she said immediately he came to the gym.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Because I swear I read that. So, okay, it took me a moment to realize I needed to get help, and everybody was in the gym, so I ran over there and got Mrs. Dowling and a bunch of
right
other
here.
teachers and brought them back to her.
It says he ran outside, saw Jamie laying on the ground, and immediately ran in the gym to notify us.
Mm-hmm. I can understand why she might lose it with all the pressure she was under. She was playing the lead in the female play. What?
Was it?
What?
I don't know.
You better stop.
I saw. I look over and he's going.
I gave people a preview of my face.
Would you quit? Okay, you're making me lose track.
You're on the
Okay, she was playing the lead female in the school play, and that's more than enough pressure for one person. You can take my word for that. The amount of work and time you have to put into theater is incredible. The night before the opening performance, Jamie was up until midnight working on the sunset on our set background. I think she even used her own money to buy paint because I heard Mr. Preakness say something about paying her back. I wonder if she did something or whatever that he didn't like and he was like paying her back. He pushed her out the window.
Who was it?
Mr. Preakness.
Him?
Yep, Paul Preakness. Anyway, she was also writing for the newspaper and had a big expose coming up that people were talking about. Everyone was trying to guess who it was about.
She was what?
She was writing for the newspaper and had a big expose coming up that people were talking about. Everyone was trying to guess who it was about.
Ooh, maybe it was him and a student.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they will cancel Saturday's performance because I have incredible chemistry with Jamie's understudy. Olivia and I have like a cosmic connection, and you can feel it when we rehearse. Mr. Preakness knows I wanted Olivia to be my Juliet, but he did not take kindly to my creative input on the matter.
Maybe it was Olivia.
Maybe.
Because she's a suspect.
Yep.
Well, apparently, Jamie was a horrible Juliet.
We're getting a lot out of this one.
Right?
Okay. I believe we should probably donate a portion of the proceeds from Saturday's performance to Jamie's family, or maybe the suicide hotline or something. Sorry, I got an itch.
Or she pushed her off, or out of the window. Yeah. The part?
I'm almost done. As the lead male for the production, it's my responsibility to take charge on initiatives like that, so I'm going to ask Mr. Preakness if he can do it. And that's it. And that one was Robert Romero's statement. Which one is next? This one? Joey Ferrari.
Sounds like a porn star name.
Oh,
Right? Alright, so Joey Ferrari.
Is he in here?
I have no idea. I think I saw him in there.
Yep, right here.
Okay.
He's a little cutie.
This one is Joey Ferrari. He looks like he's set in Greece.
Right?
That one looks like a Beatles. That one looks like he was set in Greece.
Pony boy.
Okay. So, Joey Ferrari, he said, as far as I know, I was the last one in the school newspaper room before Jamie Banks jumped out of the window.
Well, there we go. We found it.
As far as he knows. This said it was at 1:13 p.m. So I don't know. It was first period and I had study hall in the cafeteria. Mr. Griffin is my teacher there and he lets me go up to the newspaper room if I have a pass from Dr. Gelding to finish up an article of work on clip art or whatever. I signed out of the study hall as soon as it started and was in the newspaper room within probably 4 to 5 minutes after the start of first period. When I got there, the door was locked and the lights were out. Since I am a senior on the newspaper staff, I have a key to the room, so I let myself in and the door shut and automatically locked behind me. I always work on the computer that's on the right side of the room, second from the back. So that's the one I got onto. It took a few minutes to boot up, but pretty soon I was logged in and working on my outline for the story about the game tonight. You never know how a game will unfold, but when it comes to Spartan football, I usually have a pretty good idea about the outcome before the game even starts. So I write my articles beforehand, and then after the game I plug in a few game stats, and I'm good to go. That room gets pretty hot at that time of day. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the sun, or maybe the heat's broken or something, but I opened the window to let some cool air in. I lost track of time, and suddenly it was 8:50, and I only had about 5 minutes to sign back into study hall, so I saved my outline on a floppy but didn't shut down the computer. I was in a rush, but I'm positive I turned off the light and shut the door behind me. I think I left the window open. When I was a sophomore, someone propped open the door once, and some jerks vandalized a bunch of equipment. So Dr. Gelding is really strict about us locking the door out behind us ever since.
Why does he keep thinking I think?
Because he's not sure.
Like, I guess so.
Sounds like somebody is guilty of something.
Mhm.
Right.
I barely got back to study hall on time and was in Italian class until the pep rally, so I'm not sure when Jamie went in the newspaper room. Jamie and I both wrote for the school newspaper, and I've known her since 8th grade. We weren't super close outside of that. I know she also asked Gelding to be editor this year, but for some reason he chose Craig instead of either of us. Finally, I'd like to go on the record with my prediction for the game tonight. While these two teams are known for their high-powered offenses and East Verona is favored to win by a few points, I predict it's going to be a long night for the Spartans and the Colts will walk away with the championship. That's it.
Why? I think she's the last one. I think
Yeah, and then that's kind of weird
the
at the
window
end.
is open.
That's kind of weird at the end, though, too, where he doesn't even mention the fact of, like, anything but the game, pretty much,
Yeah.
at the end of that.
I'm going to say on record that we're not going to win tonight. The other team is.
So,
That
this
was
one's kind of
suspicious.
suspicious, for sure.
I mean, he's not on the...
He should be.
Suspect.
He should
Yeah.
be.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. This one's the last one without having a victim or whatever.
Yes, that's
I mean, a suspect.
He
Not a
doesn't
victim.
have one. And neither does this dude.
Okay. This one is Craig Zimmerman. Can you find his photo? Craig Zimmerman.
He's the one that wrote the article.
Ah.
Who?
Craig Zimmerman. He wrote the article for the newspaper.
He does not have one. Oh, yes, he does. Right here. This is him. He looks like a
He
little
looks
nerd.
weird.
He's a nerd. He looks like a stoner, too.
I'm a nerd, but I don't look like that.
He looks kind of weird. Anyway, so this one's Craig. Okay. His was at 12:58 p.m. Alright, so he says, I was sitting next to Liz Adams at the pep rally when Robert Romero came running through the doors, and Miss Dowling and a few teachers ran out there after him.
What are you looking for?
Okay, he's not missing. For some reason, I could have sworn that he said.
And how is her shoe perfectly, like, right there?
So if this happened while this was going on, why doesn't it say that she's missing too?
Right.
That's what
I
I'm
was
confused
wondering.
about.
Yeah, I was wondering that, but I didn't
This
say
is only
anything.
10 minutes after the pep rally started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was literally right
Right when she was
when
getting
they
killed.
were doing the photo or whatever, is when she was killed. I don't know. I don't want to do this much studying. That's too many faces. Anyway, so I was sitting next to Liz Adams at the pep rally when Robert Romero came running through the doors, and Mrs. Dowling and a few teachers ran out there after him. We had no idea what was going on at first. Within a few minutes, there was a buzz among the crowd that someone had jumped. How did they know?
Right. She didn't say it in her statement.
So someone there knew about her jumping.
Yeah.
So this was planned.
It didn't say he came running in. Hey, she jumped.
That's what I'm saying. So someone there knew that this was going
Did
to
you
happen.
say this kid, Joey, was in there?
No, he was
He's
missing,
one
I
of the
think.
missing.
He was one of the missing ones.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This got confusing.
So within a few minutes, there was a buzz among the crowd that someone had jumped. I started frantically looking around the room for Jamie because I was already worried about how she was reacting to the horrible review I wrote. Then I heard someone say her name. At first, I didn't want to accept it. I hoped that somehow I'd heard wrong, but when Principal Dowling approached me and said the police might need to talk to me about the review, I knew it was real. I was ushered into Principal Dowling's office with a few other students. We all sat there for an hour in silence, stunned. Jamie was one of my closest friends. We had our ups and downs, and it was upsetting to me that we couldn't be more than friends, but I'm horrified that
Wait, what?
to think that she killed herself over what I wrote. I feel so guilty and ashamed. He wrote the newspaper article
Yeah.
from the night before.
But you said we couldn't be more than friends or something like that.
In other words, he liked her.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
I even met with with Dr. Gelding, second period before the pep rally. He pulled me out of Miss Marston's class to talk about the review, and together we came up with a plan to try to fix the mistake. Gelding was always looking out for Jamie, but it was too late. All I wanted for her was to give us a second chance. We got along so well. She said her heart belonged to another man, but she couldn't reveal who it was yet, or others could get hurt. It's not like Jamie at all to have an affair, so I assumed she made it all up to blow me off. That's why I was so upset. It's why I wrote that horrible review. I thought she was the one, and now I'm quite certain my words have killed her.
It's getting
You did
juicy.
it.
What?
He did it.
Why?
because he thought she was having an affair, so he pushed her out the window.
Yeah, but he's not a suspect. Oh, it's my phone.
I just heard like a deep voice like talking. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, it was terrible.
What?
Alright, so things are getting pretty steamy.
Yes.
Alright,
So, and part 3 is
this
coming.
is part 2. I think we're going to stop here for now.
Yeah, part
and-
3 will be coming soon.
Part 3, soon.
Yep. Probably next video we'll probably read.
Yeah, we'll probably read the rest of the statement
Yeah.
forms and
Some more read.
yeah, we're gonna be reading quite a bit. So sorry if you guys don't like that, but
Yeah, it's getting juicy though. So we'll see you in part 3. Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.